let's introduce our sister, our
Oh my God.
star, as she is going
Yes.
to premiere her journal, and we're going to use her concepts. I got an advanced copy yesterday, and we're going to use her strategies that by the end of the day we're going to reverse engineer. But before I do that, I was telling Wally yesterday, I was trying to explain another human being, another incredibly powerful woman on the planet. And Wally said, "Oh, I don't know that
Uh-oh.
person." I said, "Well, she's kind of like Wendi." And he goes, "What? What do you mean like Wendi? There's no one like Wendi." And I'm like, Wally, you're right. There is no one like, I'm sorry, I take that back. There is
Absolutely.
no one like Wendi. I
No
cannot
one.
make this up. So, Wally, would you introduce our dear sister, Wendi Blum Weiss?
Wendi, first of all, let me say, you guys, when I met Wendi, it was like a dynamic time. We met at the Riverside Hotel. She forgot her laptop at the convention center, and I was meeting Johnny because long story, I'm not going to go back to the back, but I met Johnny for the first time in a while. He said, "Wally, I want you to be a part of this thing." I'm like, "Are you available?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Sure." Then Wendi shows up, and I'm like, I met Wendi. Johnny described you. I have to tell you when I met you. And I said, this woman is just a pure vessel of light. And I told Johnny that. And Johnny sort of described you to me. I never met you before. When he showed up, I said, "Johnny, I see exactly what you mean. There's no competition in Wendi. Wendi's here to uplift and help other people." And so my point is, I joined her meditation group about 3 or 4 months ago, but before the pandemic happened. And I have to tell you something, it's been life-changing for me. So I want to introduce you to and bring Wendi Weiss on board. By the way, we're WW. I believe we're going to have a show one day, by the way. I told you that. We're going to have a show. So I want to introduce Wendi because she is truly one of the most dynamic people that I know. And I've known her for a short period of time. So without further ado, Wendi, bring it to the table with love, power, and wisdom.
Wow.
I'm the #1 fan, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you, everyone here, from Victor, who's supporting in the background, to all of you that are watching here today. And it really is, it's the perfect time right now to be on board with this conversation, because maybe 6 months ago, you'd be in your hustle, like getting stuff done. You'd be on the highway. You'd be stuck in traffic. You'd have a long to-do list. You'd have all your excuses. I got it. And many more of us are working from home, so we can take a little bit of a break, and that we have now upped our skill set so that we know a little bit more about technology. We're Zooming and we're virtual, learning and all of this. So this is exactly the right time. And we have just entered in to the second half of the most important year in our lifetime. We are making history right now. The stage has been set for us. Whether we wanted to get on the stage or not, the whole world just got put up on the stage so that we can redefine our lives and what's most important. So I honor you so much, Johnny. It takes a lot of courage. It takes chutzpah. It takes incredible energy to put something like this on. And for you that actually tuned in, you have to say no to something else. You have to say no to distractions. You have to know that this right now is the most important thing that you can do for you, your future, and for the world. So I just want to say that. So thank you for that beautiful introduction. And yeah, let's have a meaningful conversation. In the past, these are hard conversations to have with yourself. Like, what's inside of you? What have you been doing to move forward in your dream? Those are difficult conversations that sometimes I put some extra rugs in the room, by the way, so that it would absorb the sound. It's like a second secret. So I put some extra, but we like brush things under the rug, and then we don't see what's under there. We're like, I'll get to that later. Well, later is now. So thank you.
So later is now is the moment. Let's premiere your book. tell us about this journal. Tell us about where this vision came from and why today was the day to reveal it, and why Wally and I chose, and Victor and Tim, we want to start with your vision and your book. Tell
Absolutely.
us.
Wow. Well, it really just started with a dark time in life. So I just want to say that it just didn't dance out of me. It wasn't like that. It was a life's journey that continues on. And if somebody would have said to me a decade ago, well, more than a decade ago now, so I got to do the math, like in like 2008, there was another very difficult time here in this country, very difficult time. And at that time, I started exploring, like my mind opened up to new possibilities. So let's just start with that, opening up to new possibilities, because we get on a path and we normally sort of can just stay on that path because it's kind of scary. So if we're on a path, if you're a hiker, to veer off and go explore through the trees, you don't know what's out there. There might be something big and scary out there. So I actually read a book. So there's so much out there. There are so many amazing people from the beginning of time, really. And in particular, like I've been fascinating with 1700s, 1800s, early 1900s, So this is more recent than that. But I stumbled on this book after reading The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, which I was a huge, big fan. I read that book over and over and over again. Then the next book that I read after that was The Artist Way. And the author, Julia Cameron, talked about, I had never written, I had never journaled. I did a diary for a while when I was a kid, right? So I did a diary. But the book talked about morning pages. The author was talking about creativity. Now, I wasn't really like thinking like I'm going to be an artist. So the Artist Way was like just for everybody, a doctor, an accountant, it didn't matter, or an artist. And so it said, and I had all this energy inside of me, like stuck energy. I knew it was there. And I started this process of it said, I'm like, let me follow it to the T. So I got out 3 pages that said, just write, just write, just write. And what I would write was, I don't like my handwriting. I don't like my handwriting. Like my hand is tired. What am I going to say? Like that's how I started writing, but I kept doing it. And these new ideas started to come out on the page. So much so that it birthed a new career after 25 years in the pharmaceutical industry. It birthed a clothing line, an inspirational clothing line, because I decided to move the messages that started to come out through writing that I didn't even know were inside of me that could come out of this right hand, And by the way, I'd start writing with my left hand too, just to kind of sync up both hemispheres, right, in the brain. But the writing allowed me to explore something deep and buried inside of me. Now that was after I was like, I release, I release, I release, I let go, I let go, I let go, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. In my mind, out loud, and on paper. And so that's how the writing came. So I have to start with like where the book idea even came from. And then I just became a journaling and planning, organized calendar junkie. And when you become an entrepreneur, like when I worked in corporate, my calendar was like, it was intact because we have Monday morning 2-hour meetings and Friday meetings and accountability and reports. So, I used the traditional corporate style planning. But then as an entrepreneur, you're like, I've got red shiny ball syndrome. I've got like ideas flowing everywhere. I'm like, I don't have forced structure in my life. And I couldn't find a system that like spoke to my spirit, my soul, my greatest health, my relationships, because that didn't count in my corporate planning. Like the priority of relationships and self-care. Nobody said anything about self-care. So like I started then to create a journal and planner calendar. They're 2 separate components. And I started designing them so that it could fit the whole, because I'm also a high productivity junkie as well. Like, I like getting shit done. And
That's
so
what's
it
up.
was like an issue of a problem, because entrepreneurs are like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. I was noticing people weren't getting stuff done. Like in the corporate world, you got a deadline date, and you
Right.
got to everything is
Absolutely.
based on that, right? So that's where it got born.
And where did the art come into it? Because you started off not thinking you're an artist, but as I beheld your book last night, it's a work of art. It is, not only is it gorgeous, but it draws you in. It like no other journal I've seen. It makes you want to write. You know what I mean? It's inviting is the word I would use. It's beautiful and inviting. Where did you discover this artistic piece of you?
Well, I have to share a little story about my son Daniel. So my son Daniel, when he was like 8 or 9, I would take him to this place called Young at Art. There'd be like 10 girls in him, and he would be drawing. And he was like this amazing, like he could draw, like he was an artist. And then by the time he was like 13 or 14 or 15, he wasn't doing it anymore. And I still remind him today at 32, there's an artist inside of you. So I believe we are all creative, and it comes out in different ways. You might create as an accountant the most beautiful structuring of your numbers and be able to see what other people can't see. So you have an artistic flair in a way. You might dance or sing when you're by yourself in the shower. I would have never known this. I would have said I was not artistic, but I did, like all of us. You like design, like you like to set something up pretty in your house. You like to dress and like look a certain way. That's art. And what happened was I've created now this planner calendar system for a number of years. And I did it more like logically. And over the years, I was like craving it to be more like a masterpiece, more artistic oriented, because I was like, as I was exploring and allowing these parts of myself to come out, like doodling again. Did you used to draw like little circles when you were in school and you get a little bored? Like I used to like draw flowers. And so it just started, like that part was given permission. First, I had to stop judging myself, because I was like, girl, like, I kept telling myself what was wrong with me, to invite in the possibility of what is potentially, and I was doing it for myself, really. And I won't say that I've done this by myself, because over the years I've had a team, I've had people that have inspired me. I actually like decided a couple years ago, I made a decision that in all my teaching, I've created so much content that I have a lot of content that flows through me. I receive like a lot of download of information, but now that I've gotten it and I've captured it, now I want to beautify it. It's like you buy your house and then finally you say, I'm going to remodel, So that's what happened with Now What I Create, with 2 different books that I've launched, today here, because it just feels right to do it with everyone here as we're talking about vision.
Yes, and vision. And so I want people to get your pens out, get your pads out, because I want you to tell us what reverse engineering is, and actually let's process, because
I love processes.
Right, our
All
vision
right.
is at
I'm
the
excited.
end of the decade is every child on the planet has food and clothing and movies and popcorn. We don't know how it's going to happen yet. We didn't know Kennedy, when he said we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade, he didn't know how we're going to do it, but the intent, the vision of everyone coming together is, made it happen. I just knocked over my popcorn cup all over the place. It's all like a theater, right? You're watching a movie and you just knock your popcorn cup and it's all over. Nobody cares. They keep watching because we're happening. And so we are envisioning the future, and there's a power and an intent and an energy in it. So Wendi, share with us now, as we're all collectively
Yes.
holding space for this vision, but people that are watching their individual visions. What is reverse engineering?
Well, I just got inspired just now to actually put in an invitation, an offer, like something tangible into the group. So anyone that wants to send me a note or somehow drop a note on, onto my website or anything, I will send you some blank pages that are beautiful for you to reverse engineer. But I invite you to grab whatever you got right now, a pen and paper. But I will send you a couple of the pages out of the Redefine Yourself Best Life Planner Calendar, the reverse engineering section out of August, because that's the next month we're moving into. So reverse engineering, and you've heard these ideas before, by the way. You might hear them a little different. Sometimes you hear them 20 times, but the 21st time you hear it, like bells go off and something, a combination on a lock, and it just hits. So reverse engineering is future scripting your story. It's writing it as if it already happened in reverse, as if you are an architect. If you're designing a building, you don't start thinking about the bottom floor and moving up. You think about the exploring. Like my mind opened
sorry about
up.
that.
You got a little echo there.
No, my phone popped up. I'm sorry about that, guys.
That's okay. You hear everything. Everything's
It was you, actually.
Everything's in echo in life. Everything's in echo.
Yes.
We're multiplying. More Wendy's, Wally. More Wendy's.
More Wendy's. Oh, I know if the world can handle that.
We hear these voices in our mind, So, I mean, it's all symbolism. Everything happens exactly as it's supposed to happen. I even named my cat Echo. The Echo. The our cat, my wonderful husband, and our cat is named Echo Love, because he echoes love, 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 love. So as an architect, seeing a building already done. So if you are creating a new story, redefining yourself right now, you go forward as if it already happened. You do this for yourself. You can do this for the world. You can do this in a collective way, which is what we're doing here today. And it's what put me on my path, leaving a legacy for my two boys, Daniel and Corey, that I love so much, that represent the world's children, your nieces, nephews, your neighbors, your brothers and sisters on a continent around the world. So you reverse engineer a vision as if it already happened. So, I mentioned I'm going to send August to you for reverse engineer. Well, we're going to sidebar that, because you can reverse engineer going out 5 years, or reverse engineer for the month, or even for the day, or even for a single solitary event. Right? So, and this is what I've embedded in both the planner and I have a separate book that is the Redefine Yourself daily journal, that has journal prompts to help you get clear, to help you kickstart your story and figure out how you're redefining yourself. So you go forward to the end of August. We're going to do this for a second. So August has in it, you have to know how many days are in the month. So you think for August
31.
31st, right? So it's August 31st. And this past month, right before August kicked in, I attended the Global Vision Conference, and new ideas popped in. And I held the vision so strong for the world and the world's children, clothing and food. Opened my heart. That became my mission. Movies and popcorn became my purpose, my passion. I anchored that in my bigger why, a global why. And in August, I woke up every day, and I woke up. Some days were hard. Some days my emotions were up and down and all around and zig and zag. But for the most part, I enriched my meditation practice, my writing. I started writing. I started journaling. I started opening up my calendar planner again and said, I haven't used it. I've been, uncertain about what's going on with life or my career or my relationship. I started to write again. I started to get in touch what's inside of me again. And I have had such a good month, and I feel, and it's the end of August and I feel empowered, but I hold that global vision. That is my North Star, that global vision. And every morning I anchored it in. And at the end of the day, I cast a seed of my vision, the vision for my life and my part in knowing that inspired people, empowered other people. And what we need right now is not people that are talking about the politics and this and that and complaining and, all that. No. Cleaning it all up, staying out of judgment, and being a pure, clean vessel so that I could be part of the change. In August, I was part of the change. And it took me a moment. I had to use some journal prompts and think about things, meditate, release some things, and go for a run when I felt kind of stuck, or do some jumping jacks, or sometimes cry. But August was a good month. And I am optimistic and hopeful and spreading that energy into the world. So that is an example. And by the way, with the journal and with the planner, you get audios that go with it. You get these monthly audios. You get these reverse engineer audios and videos and PDFs. So it's not just you get all these extra things with it, because what we don't need another book that sits on our bookshelf. We need a book that comes alive, that can awaken your vision every day.
Woo.
So now I'm a little bit passionate.
A little bit, just a little bit.
So, Wally.
Yes.
Like you said to me yesterday, there's no one like
Absolutely
Wendi.
not.
What are you talking about, Willis? There's no one like Wendi. Ta-da! So
exactly.
So Wendi, and then Wendi and Wally, I'm going to turn this over to you, Wally, because you're at 11. You're going to be back in the green room for a little bit with Tim.
Yes.
You guys take these next 15 minutes. I'm staying. But the vision that I got a couple of weeks ago, 100 women with a shared vision. 100 women with a shared vision can shift the axis of the world. And I wrote it at 12:30 at night. I woke up, I wrote it, I texted it. I called you the next day and I said, Wally, I think this is a vision because there's something powerful. Children that don't have food and clothing, women actually, and Wally put it into the artistic meme. Well, now in these next 6 hours or so that we have, how do we work by 5 p.m. we have 100 women with the shared vision. People are able to go onto the Facebook page and say, Andrea Summerfield is keeping track today, and Tim in the green room, everyone in the green room, they write, Johnny, I'm holding the vision. They put a popcorn cup there. But how do we reverse engineer back now from 5 p.m.? That's my vision. And because I just think there's something spiritual to it. So 100 women with a shared vision affects the spirit. So you guys, let's put Wendi's thesis into reality now.
Well, I first of all, Wendi, I have to tell you, when I joined the Re-Engineer Your Life, we started doing reverse engineering. I mean, some things happened that were far beyond anything that I ever hoped for, wished for, imagined. So what I'm thinking, I see that we've signed, there are more than 100 women that have enrolled in this, maybe 150 at this point. And they're from all over the world. And they are all very passionate. Some of them don't even know how they came to find this. We just came up with a Facebook feed, or I posted on Instagram, LinkedIn. Somehow people got connected. I believe in the collective consciousness. And I believe that as we hold space for these things to happen, I see it's already done. And that's why. So thank you, Wendy, for enlightening me about reverse engineering, because it's definitely influencing my life. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I just got inspired to do something, so I'm going to share it
Okay.
because this is what I added. I don't know, so much, right, has changed from
Yes.
before March. And so what
Hmm.
I just got inspired to do right now is what I have done, like really for events and reverse engineer, like, stuff happening. So I felt inspired, if you guys can see this, right? So I got inspired to write a line and put
Hmm.
10, boxes, squares going across. And I just did 5 down. So that's 50. So I am holding with you, with all of you collectively, 50 women right now, starting to type into the comments section. Yes. And then every hour, another 10, another 20, every hour, so that we do it in increments, so that we can break things down. If you want to save $1 million, you don't just like your brain, if you keep saying, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. First, if you have zero in the bank, you have to be a 10,000-aire, 10,000-aire, 20,000-aire, right? A 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. See it grow, see it grow, see it energize. Give the universe like an opportunity to start kicking in the action, right? So right now, we just got started. It's the first hour in. 50 people, 50 amazing women right now saying, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, I'm on board. I am part of this movement. I am feeling this movement. And then going out, if 50 women go out and get one other woman, right? So now you're talking about another 50 that go in and do, and every hour we're doing this. This is how things increase and multiply. This is how we build momentum.
Yes.
Momentum. The way you start something, the way you start your day, the way we start our day right now that you're feeling inspired. How can I help? What can I do? How can I share? I love teaching sales and teaching sales. I teach these sales courses when I first started as an
Right.
entrepreneur to ask 3 questions. Who can I help? What can I share? How can I make a difference? Right now, you're a woman. It's the women of the Western world. It's the women of the whole darn world, right? The whole world is together on this. And as a woman, we go out,
See
we
ya.
are relentless for our children. What I wouldn't do
Wow.
for my kids. Lift up a darn house if I have to lift it up.
Hear them a little different. Sometimes you hear them 20 times.
Some way. There we go. Echo effect. That echo effect is so freaking powerful. Right? So
Oops.
we text a friend right now. We text a friend and say, you have to get on board with this. You have to listen to this. This is about the world. This is stepping into our power. This is accessing who we are collectively. Like, we have given this gift right now. We're in a time out. We're in a reflective state. What is most meaningful in the world is our children. What kind of world are we leaving for our children? We are willing to step in. And so, yes, I got inspired to draw those 50. So right now, women.
Woo! Come on, bring it, Wendy.
Yes.
Johnny, I don't you love this, Johnny?
I love it.
I mean,
This
I
is
love it. You're on fire. This is it. Wendy.
Yes. Yes.
This is it.
Now, Wendy, and the men, in the men, you can also write that, yes, we share the vision because the men are supporting you. You have, today, Wendy, you have the wizard and the tin man and the courageous lion and the brilliant scarecrow. We're all men backing you up as you're speaking what you're doing. Well, this is the vision. This is my vision, that the women of the world are going to swarm together in a beautiful symphony of let's do this. What do we have to do? For the
Right.
first time in the history of the world, we are going to feed and clothe every child on the planet and share movies and popcorn with them. It's happening in this moment, collectively, energetically. Yes.
And for anyone
Wendy.
that doesn't think that's possible for a second, who would have thought it'd be possible that we could have a global shutdown in like a snap of a finger? So if we could do that, we could do anything, because it's only our mind that has the limitations. And I do want to add
Yes.
too, that it's just not the rah rah, like I just have to say my face probably looks puffy because I have cried so much this week. It's not that we are just going up, up, up. It's like, stock goes up and down and up and down. And then you just got to trust and you got to move and you get
Right.
energized from the struggle and the pain. You get energized from it. You're like, not on my watch. We can cry for our world's children, and then we wipe those tears up, and then we step forward and we say, okay, what can I do to be in action? A lot of people don't know what action steps to take, and saying yes without having to know how is sending a
Yes.
signal, smoke signal. Okay,
Yes.
universe, okay, universe, okay, universe. And that's what we are doing right now.
Absolutely. I heard it said once, you got to turn your wounds into wisdom, your pain into power, and your scars into
That's
stars.
WW, wounds to wisdom.
Yeah. Hey, I like it. I like it because you know what, you guys, I had this conversation earlier this week with Wendi. It's one of those things you just have to trust and allow, and don't ask how. This is something I picked up from Bert Smith Lyon, The Essence of Being. But, I think a lot of times we figure out, how is this going to happen? But I've learned and I've seen, I believe, and I've experienced that, you know what, if you cast a vision out there, it's going to happen. The right people are going to come to you, the right opportunities, but you just have to have your eyes wide open and believe that all things are possible. And the other thing is too, is that Johnny and I discuss this all the time. What if you have no vision on life? What are you saying? Well, I don't have a vision, Wally. How am I going to get vision? I hear Wendi fired up right now, energy, and she's bringing it, but I don't feel like I can do that kind of thing. Guess what? You have to have a shift in your mindset. If you say to yourself, all things are possible, and you continue to believe that, it will allow it to manifest and create in your life. But I say all the time, it's written, it says, without vision, the people perish. If you have no vision of the future, you're living in your past right now. So we're going to put the past down and we're going to see the vision into the future. Don't figure out how. And Johnny knows over the past couple of weeks, I just put it out there. And things have just been happening miraculously without me trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? How's this going to happen? No, put that aside right now. Put it out to the universe, as Wendi said, and watch things creating your life.
Yeah, I love that. And I just go back to think about the hard times, the rough times, the struggle.
Oh boy.
Like think about a time in your life that you overcame something, like for anybody who's listening and you didn't think that you could. Back, 12, 15 years ago, I just remember just laying on the bathroom floor and just feeling like life was hopeless. I just remember growing up and feeling so, insecure, so much so that my dominant thinking was suicide. And I didn't actually see any hope. I didn't see any path. I just felt a struggle. And somehow, through the great teachings, thank God for the great, that Joseph Murphy landed into my lap around reprogramming the subconscious mind, landed in the artist's way and writing and journaling, landed in my lap somehow. That was divinely orchestrated. That if you're hearing this message, that you are on that divine path. And it of course, like you see, by the time you hear somebody that's empowered, you're like, yeah. But there was no way that I'd be hitting a go live button back in those days. I could barely get out of the house, right? So barely make it to a therapy appointment or something, but it's trusting. It's trusting everything.
And Wally, to back up your point, which is in your book, which we're going to get to at 3:00, that I want people to know it actually works. And so we're showing them. I had a vision for the Global Vision Conference of Wally speaking and singing. And I had not spoken to Wally in a couple of years. And I was going to see Blanca, who you're going to hear from at noon, and at the Wyndham in Boca, and the elevator's doors open on the second floor, and out comes Wally. Wally walks right out, and there it is. I'm like, Wally, remember, like Wally. I'm
like in shock.
I want you to be at the Global Vision Conference, and you were there, and then a week later, you and I are meeting to plan it. A week before the conference, you and I are meeting to plan it. And Wendi leaves her laptop at the convention center. And I say, I'm meeting with Wale on Las Olas. Can you join us? He's a pretty powerful man. I think the two of you, boom, and we met. Here we are now. So
It's amazing.
It's just a flow of intent. Something magically happens.
It was magic. Can I tell you? And Johnny knows the story about it. I was meeting a dear friend of mine. Haven't seen her in I don't know how long. And she wanted to go to the yoga room. And we used to do the meditation every Thursday. Shout out to you, Terry Kulu, if you're out there. And I haven't seen her. So it was one of those things where it's almost like we both looked at each other, shocked. We opened the door and there's Johnny standing right there. My mouth dropped open, looked at her mouth dropped open. We're like, oh my goodness. And then when Johnny shared his story, Johnny totally manifested that. But I want to say something right now. I feel something, Wendi. First of all, thanks for sharing about your struggle. But I have a word for someone out there. I don't know who you are right now, but you are that person. You are curled up in the ball. You are on the bathroom floor. You feel hopeless right now. You feel like it's over right now. But I got to tell you, but God has a plan for you. And Wendi, when she was out there, she would never imagine she'd be sitting here right now. So you're probably saying, yeah, Wendi, like she said, I'm here right now. I'm doing this now. But my point is she went through those struggles. And that's what we all went through struggles. My book was written during some of the toughest times in my life. And so I want to tell you right now, if that's you out there, all things are possible. You just got to have hope. Never give up, never quit, always have hope. And you would say, well, I'm hopeless. I've been locked down in my place for 4 months now. I haven't even left because I'm scared of the lions and tigers and bears on the street. Well, this is your time. This is your moment. This is your vision. And thank you so very much, Wendi, for being authentic and sharing that with us. Thank you so much.
Wally, all right, you keep this, okay, keep this bottle now. You're gonna go into the green room and
gone.
Get track. And Andrea Summerfield is keeping track of the how many women have signed up, are holding their popcorn, the vision. And then you'll come back up. And our director, Victor, can you put up Wendi's info so people, because I know people want to buy this. Wally, man, it is game on. Thanks for carrying the ball downfield. You can feel it. We got this.
Oh, you could feel it. I'm going to get some lunch, put me in the green room. I'm going to just get some coffee, lunch, and just chill for a minute. But anyways, awesome, you guys.
Incredible.
Wendi, look at this picture. Look at the style, the gold, and the I don't know what the fashion on your leg there, the stitching and the beauty though. This is your art. Look at Best Life Journal. Best, oh my, look how beautiful it is. See, you are an artist. Look at Wendi. Oh my goodness. It is just a masterpiece.
Okay, well, I got to add a little bit of Photoshop too, but yeah, thank you. These are my lucky jeans, and working in corporate, I have them on. I have on my favorite jeans right now, the rebellious side that wasn't allowed to ever do that, in corporate. So I really appreciate you saying that. And I don't know if anybody can see in here, because I know you're talking about the website, but she created a life that she loved. And I just know that's for all of us, even the men. He created a life that he loved, and together there is so much creativity and so much greatness that is inside of each one of us. And so I'm hopeful that someone will be inspired to put pen to paper and explore what their dreams are, what their vision is. You can even start by just writing words, like writing one word. Like take the alphabet 1 to Z, like just one journal prompt. I'll give it to you. This like 26 journal prompts in one, but just take the alphabet and use each letter A, B, C, D, E, and then just write the words to kind of kickstart like what's inside of you. All the words that you can think of that start with the letter A, or even just one word, or B or C or D, just to kind of get a kickstart to get your visioning muscle going, you know, to think about that. Like you say the word, you know, P and peace, and then what's the vision that you have for peace? And that's how you can start to, you know, awaken your dreams and what's inside of you.
And I'm getting direction from our producer director, Victor E. Choi, that they can go ahead and order. They can order it online right now, pre-orders, to get their copy of this magnificent masterpiece.